Hey, what's up? I'm Mike Barnhill. I'm the Vice President of Specialist ID and the Chief Hydra Slayer at Hydra Fighter. And I want to say that my relationship with Victor Pierantoni it's got to be one of the most valuable relationships I've had over the last several years in terms of financially, spiritually, relationships, and as a leader. We've been working together on and off several times, and I always come back to Victor because it's like in the hero's journey. When you know there's these things you're supposed to do and they're hard to do, but you know that by doing them you're gonna fulfill your time here on this planet. Not to be melodramatic, but sometimes you have to go off to somebody else who's maybe sees things from a different perspective and really knows how to articulate and see things as a visionary and who's been through some things that I haven't been through yet. And so on these kind of bi-weekly calls with Victor, he'll help me see things almost like a Jedi master, where I come in and we have these discussions and I know it needs to be done, but I can't figure out how to do it, or I can't figure out the words to help get me motivated or get me to actually take the action that's needed. And some examples of things that Victor's really helped me out with is one of the struggles I've had was in some big negotiations as inflation's been coming up. And pretty recently we had some vendors we had to renegotiate pricing with. Things were getting out of control, and gave me some templates, some ideas, some conversations to have, and really helped me dial in and have some tough conversations that ended up saving us tens of thousands of dollars. Not only that, but helped us keep these relationships with these vendors really strong. So going forward, we know that we'll still get to work together and be beneficial to one another financially, not only in the cost savings, learning some negotiation skills and relationship skills from Victor, saving us tens of thousands of dollars in the business, but also creatively and as a leader. I'd say he's probably added hundreds of thousands of dollars to our top line through creative output, through innovations, through new products, through leadership, and allowing me to not only lead our creative team, but to help them develop as people, as creative people. So, not just being a person in the village who sees and works with others and gets the best out of them, let's say, but who's become interested in helping them become their best self. As a leader, Victor's really helped me not only utilize the best in others, but to help me really nurture the best in others so they can develop into the people they want to be and help them to live more of the lives that they were put on this earth to live. So financially, he's been a huge asset. I'd say the greatest gift I've gotten from Victor, one of the greatest gifts, is around just creativity. I think that Victor is a creative visionary, and being around someone like him helps really inspire me to bring the creation from the cosmos or what have you into something actionable. And one of the greatest things that's happened is, since we've worked together, I decided to start pursuing music in my 40s again after years of taking a big break from it. And the first song that I think came after years of kind of a dry spell was after a conversation that Victor and I had about something that was really hard for me to deal with, process, and I didn't even know how to deal with or process it. And after a real heavy discussion we had, I ended up writing the song that it was the first time I found the voice for this new creative project I was beginning, or had been dreaming of for a long time, actually. So, he helped me find that voice, that creative voice, that became something that now has become quite the passion project. Not only to write that first song, but to find the voice for the project. And not only that, but to find the name. So after another call that we'd had, I was struggling for a name that would encapsulate the vibe and the difference of a guy in his 40s making music again for the first time, and how do you justify that, and what is the identity. And he helped me come up with the name Hydra Fighter, which I thought was just the perfect name, probably the best name any band I've ever had has had. And then additionally, he's helped me to really focus on doing the right things to get the right outcomes for the things that matter most. And so that sitting in the producer chair every day, with this creative energy and fever that really helps inspire greatness. I think one of the things that I've come across in working with Victor is I'm beginning to find my own greatness in things. I've been pretty great at some things. We all have been. Some of them trivial, some of them meaningful, and some of them essential. And I think he's helped me find the greatness in the essential. I've reached new levels in things that matter more to me than anything. As a father, as a husband, as a musician, I've had big aspirations for all of those things since I can remember, and I didn't know how to get there. And I feel like I'm now at a level where I'm becoming the man I've always wanted to be. I'm becoming the kind of the hero of the kid, of the younger version of me, and that's been an amazing thing to have unfold. And I couldn't have done that by myself, and I don't think I could have done that through a book, through most other coaches. I've worked with some coaches, and I've had some great coaches, but I'd say Victor is one of the most valuable relationships in my life, and I'll always come back to Victor. I'm going to make sure that he's a guy that I always have on speed dial, as a coach, as a mentor, as a friend. There's nobody better. And I have notes, and I have pages and pages of notes from our conversations, and I go through them, and I remember what we've discussed, and it gives me clarity, and it gives me reminders of really who I want to be, and what I want to create on this earth, and what I want to be for others. That's just been such a powerful gift, and not only that, but I get to share those things with other people. That's been one of the most amazing blessings, is that I get to take what we've discussed, what I learned, perspectives, things that I really need that help me see the whole story, and I get to bring a better me to the people that I love in my life. And not only that, but I get to share my learnings with others. I'll often say in a meeting with other entrepreneurs or at a mastermind, I'll say, "Oh, this reminds me of something that my coach Victor said," and I'll spiel off something, and people go, "Wow, that was so helpful. That was so helpful for what I'm going through." And that's been pretty amazing, and I can't take credit for the things I've learned from him, but I can take credit for what I've applied. And my life is truly better today, having known Victor for these years, and for having jumped on calls, gone through coaching, continue to go through coaching with Victor. It's the best. It is literally the best. And we did a thing called the Liberation Session, went down to Austin, Texas. First of all, I saw the Cybertruck factory, which was pretty cool. Victor and I spent a day together, and we did a liberation session, which felt like a year's worth of therapy in one day. Not only therapy, but really a catharsis and a seeing of things, especially around relationships, that I had never seen before, that had always been there, but I hadn't seen. I didn't have the vision. I didn't have maybe even the strength and fortitude to see the dynamics of some relationships. And I really began to appreciate things I hadn't appreciated before. I began to have empathy in ways I didn't have before. And I began to appreciate the gifts of the relationships that I have. And that's been something I'd say is transformational. And not only to this point, but I can see that being transformational to my last days on earth. And I'm just so grateful for that. Victor, I'm so grateful for your friendship, your mentorship, your coaching, and just being a badass dude. Love you, man. Hope this is helpful.